is a new chapter. So we finished fruits and vegetables, then we're going to do this chapter about sauces, and then we have a chapter on vitamins and nutrition, and we're done. That's everything you need to know about food. Alright, let's see here. So, ask away. That's because I haven't loaded it yet. I wanted to get through today to see how far we got. I have the homework loaded. Because it could be that homework 9 covers sauces and a little bit of vitamins nutrition, but it depends on how fast I am today. So, I'm going to put it up this afternoon. Let's figure out how speedy I am. Alright, sauces, everything saucy. Alright, so. The sauce, its job is to provide flavor in some sort of way as either a liquid or a gel, a gelatinous substance. Alright, so your sauce can be anywhere from gravy to like chicken broth to like cranberry sauce, right? Technically that's a jelly that you probably don't eat by itself, right? No one usually, unless you're my husband, cracks open the can of cranberry jelly. Oh yeah, yeah. No, he just cracks it from the can and eats it straight from the can. It's not usually designed to be eaten in that way. Very rarely, right? We just take a jar of gravy and a spoon and get after it. Seems unlikely. So, how Abby does. Maybe Abby, you gravy straight? No. Well, Thanksgiving's coming up, so I guess you can have your gravy fix if you need it.
My Chem Nov is done. You can try it.
You need to try your just gravy straight. Yeah.
Like, don't worry about the turkey. We're just getting gravy straight.
That's right. Alright, so just a reminder, like we talked about this already, but flavor is a combination of things that touch your tongue as well as volatile things that get into your nose. If the compound is water soluble, your tongue is going to do all the heavy lifting. So it would be sweet, sour, bitter. Any compound that's water soluble, your tongue can deal with. If it's fat soluble or just non-polar, then typically that's what you're smelling. So things that don't have a strong taste but have a very strong smell, those things are usually non-polar and fat soluble. Like spicy things that make your tongue burn, you're more smelling it than you are tasting it. That's all right, variety. Oh, close. Definitely has a V and an R in it. I-E-T, E-I-T? Okay. Alright, so you have a variety of sauces that exist. There's one extreme, which would be like a vinaigrette. Alright, that's on a super extreme end where it's right. You usually call this like, oh, they're on the refreshing side, right? They're not heavy, they're light. Some on a salad of some sort. Or on the other extreme, right, we have fish sauce, where you've taken a fish and you've boiled it to the point where everything has dissolved, and then you boiled off all the water, and so then you're just having a sauce made of fish parts. We'll get there. No, Worcestershire is different. It has anchovy sauce in it, but no. It's called fish sauce. Like in the Asian section of your grocery store, go find fish sauce, and fish that have been boiled to the point that they are now a thick liquid.
Or sometimes yum yum stuff, is that orange sauce?
No, that's duck sauce. That's sugar. Sugar and water. Yeah.
Duck.
Yeah, there's no duck in duck sauce. That is just sugar, water, and some really crazy orange food coloring. Yeah, there's nothing in there that should be orange. They just add the orange food coloring. It's mostly just a thick sugar syrup. Yeah. Yeah, with a little bit of orange food coloring to make it that neon orange that doesn't exist in regular food.
Oh no, like I thought that was yum yum. It's like that thing.
Yeah, no, that's mayonnaise.
No.
Yeah, no, that's mayonnaise and a little bit of Thousand Island dressing. I mean, again, sauce, yes, but not fish sauce.
Yeah, I was gonna write it up.
We'll look at some, we're going to call them sauces, but really they're gels, like meat gels. Jello made of meat parts. We'll look at that. Yeah. We may get to that. So. Alright, so you can have, right, one end to the other. Vinaigrette, which is a very simple oil and water. And then you have fish sauce, which is meat parts been boiled down until it's thick. Alright, so sauces come down to two main basic principles. One, they're an accompaniment to the main course. Like I was saying, like, right, gravy goes on the turkey. You don't have, maybe you have a plate full of turkey with some, or a plate full of gravy with some turkey bits in it, but usually, right, you have more protein than gravy. And it has to smell good and taste good for it to be a good sauce. Usually it has components of both. Let's see. I'm going to flip over to that. I got more sauce back to sauces. So when you're thinking of your favorite sauces, right, your tomato sauce, your gravy, your whatever else you can think of, you typically do not want them to be chunky or curdled or separated in some way, right? It should be a continuous sauce. You shouldn't be able to see like the oil floating on top of it, and you shouldn't be able to see the flour chunks in it, because there's nothing worse than eating gravy and biting into a big old pile of flour in the middle of it. So, alright, those are not considered very good. So we're going to spend some time talking about how do you prevent those issues. And the base ingredient, in other words, where we're going to start off with just that every sauce is a water base. So sauces are all really proteins, fats, sugars dissolved in water. So water is going to be what's called a continuous phase, which is the solvent that everything else is dissolved in. all the other components, any kind of sugar, fat, protein. Are dispersed in the water and provide the flavor. And finally, we also need some thickening agents to bind the water to the other components. So we talked about those guys before, right? Those are like starches or flour or something that kind of gets the water to get everything together. Or I guess it could be air. You could whip up the air and make the thing really fluffy. Alright, so let's talk first about sauces thickened with gels. So here, this is it looks like glace, but it's French, so it's glacé. It is a meat jello. So it is, you boiled meat down to the point where it becomes a gelatin solid, and you cut it into little cubes, little meat jello shooter cubes, and you eat that along with your main dish. It's like if you ate a bouillon cube, but it was squishy. France. The French have weird things going on. Alright, so how do we get to the point that we have a meat jello? Excellent question. Alright, so when your meat's cooking, some of the juice from the meat seeps out into the pan. If you want to, you can make it's called pan sauce at that point. That's the most basic one, where you take the juice of the meat that has come out of the meat and you add some cornstarch or flour or whatnot. That's the most basic pan sauce. Or I guess it could just be by itself, right? So if you have the French dip sandwich where you have the au jus, right? That's French for meat juice. All it is meat juice, and so they've cooked the meat, they pour off all the juice from cooking the meat into a cup, and then you just are dipping your sandwich back into the meat juice. It's delicious. I'm not saying it's not, but if you think about it, you're like, it's kind of weird. But yeah, it's delicious. Yeah, so that is usually a bouillon cube. So it is beef broth. So they have boiled meat, taken all the chunks of meat out of it, and what's left is beef broth. And they dehydrated it, so they sucked all the water out. And so you're just adding the water back in. Good stuff when you think about it. It may be that this is one of those classes where you're like, I wish I knew less about food than I do now. Okay, so we've talked about gelatin before, right? That's a protein. Gelatin is a protein. That when heated, it's special. It does not denature. So it doesn't completely denature, it doesn't completely uncoil and flop apart. It uncoils enough to become soluble in water. Alright, so when it cools, right, so when you heat it up, it then coils enough to dissolve in water, and then when it cools off, it recoils back up and traps water in there and reassociates with itself. And so it makes what you do with Jello, right? So when you're making Jello, you have to heat the water up real high, get it to boiling, add your Jello packet, stir it up. At that point, the gelatin has been dissolved in the water, and then when it cools off, the gelatin is just reassembling and trapping the water in between the protein molecules. How many people for family, like, so my family always makes Jello, we call it Jello salads. We're little kids. Anyone else make Jello salads? Yeah. Thanksgiving makes me think of it, because it's always, it depends. There's a few different versions of it. My family does the one where it's just orange Jello with celery and carrots in it. Sometimes it can, yeah. Sometimes it's called, not Waldorf salad, but something like that. Yeah, it's something like that. The name will come to me. Yeah, there's like Jello, there's green Jello with like cottage cheese in it, then there's another one where it's like green Jello with like marshmallows and whipped cream in it, and pistachios. Thanksgiving was making a Jello salad, because it's the one thing my mom makes.
I never really thought about it.
Yeah, my mom put carrots and celery in it.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah, I don't know why you would put that in there. I guess it makes it healthy. Because there's carrots in it. I much prefer the more desserty one, because that, like, I mean, she always puts it like as a main entree. I'm like, no one's gonna eat Jello as a main entree. Kind of a weird option. Because then she's like, you didn't take any, because everything else on my plate is hot. And I don't want my Jello touching my hot food and then melting, and then getting Jello stuff on there. Well, I like, if I had my preference, I would have separated plates. I don't like the food touching. Yeah, well, I mean, that's what the dishwasher's for, right? Alright, so gelatin comes from collagen, so both of these are proteins. So gelatin comes from when collagen breaks down, and collagen is found in muscle. About 1% of your muscle is collagen. About 2% of your tendons are collagen. Bone, skin, or your knuckles and yours. No. So if you're going to make Jello from scratch, you need to boil ears, knuckles, and skin. That's how it's made. So, right, so most of the collagen is in like, right, this kind of consistency that your nose and ears have. It's yeah, like cartilage is a form of collagen. Yes, Yes, it's an excellent lip plumper, which means they've also extracted it from pig skins and knuckles and ears. Pig knuckles. You guys ever been to the grocery store and seen the pig knuckles? They're usually in a jar. Yeah. Pig feet. No. There are ways around it, like maybe you don't want to use it, in which case you'd use like xanthan gum or agar, that's considered vegetarian. But yeah, so no, if it's true gelatin, it is an animal product. Potentially. Yeah, it depends how strictly vegetarian. Yeah, if it says gelatin on there, it's usually an animal source. Yeah, it depends on how, it'd probably be vegan, truly vegan if you want to avoid this, because it's not meat, right? Vegetarian usually is just avoiding meat. Or vegan, you're avoiding any animal product. So you don't eat eggs, you don't drink milk. There's nothing with a source of animals associated with it. My freshman roommate was vegan for about 2 weeks. But then when she realized she had to eat in the dorms, right, in the dining hall, it was very hard to be a strict vegan in the dining hall. I really don't know how we got matched up. We were a terrible match. We met for a year. It was fun. Alright, so let's see. Collagen is extracted by slow boiling in water. For anywhere from 1 to 24 hours. And the difference is you can make fish gelatin, which only takes an hour, or you can make beef gelatin, which takes 24 hours because of the size of the pieces you're working with. Probably. I'm thinking that this is if you do it at home. I'm sure that when they do it in the major factory, it's in a sealed container like a pressure cooker, so it cooks much faster and the smell doesn't escape quite as much. But I imagine working in any kind of food factory would be awful. Just like working fast food, right? All your favorite fast foods, they're great until you see how they're made. Then you're like, no, less great. Right. If I worked at Moe's or something like that, it'd be fine. But if I worked over here, I'd be less excited. Yeah. So because I was talking to, randomly enough, I was talking to a Chick-fil-A operator. And he was saying that Chick-fil-A has gone all organic with their chicken. He's like, the hardest part was, right, Chick-fil-A only uses chicken breast. Like, there's no other part of the chicken that they use for anything. So if Chick-fil-A is going to use the organic chicken breast, they had to find other companies to use all the other parts. Because there's no incentive for a farmer to just sell chicken breast to Chick-fil-A and then be stuck with the rest of the chicken. They had to do a whole big working group so that, okay, we're going to use the chicken breast. All right, KFC, you guys are going to use the legs. All right, this group over here, it wasn't Kentucky Fried Chicken, it was some other group. Oh, you guys are going to take the feet. Excellent, you guys are going to use the feathers. So, a lot of work. Oh yeah, Chinese delicacy is feet, chicken feet. They can either be deep fried or they can be boiled. And you just kind of nibble around them. You just kind of nibble the skin off it. It's like all the best part of the chicken skin without the meat. I think I'll have to, at least a little bit. Now, they are in the process, I think January 1st, all their chicken is going to be organic. So, I think the trade-off is that Chick-fil-A does such a great volume that it may not need to go up in prices. So if you sell a lot of it, you don't really have to change your prices very much. That is my main contention. Yes, it is all organic. The difference is what kind of chicken feed they get. So you can't, so certain chickens are susceptible to, just like humans, right? You get sick. And so when you get sick, you take an antibiotic, and it's out of your system in 24, 48 hours. Certain chickens also get sick, right? They get bacterial infections. So either you can just let that chicken die, or you can give it an antibiotic, get it healthy again. People say that if you give a chicken an antibiotic, well then you've tainted it for life, and so then if you go to eat it, you then are also eating the antibiotic. So an organic chicken farmer, in theory, should have fed their chickens no antibiotics. That if they were at any point sick or diseased, they just took them out and let them die. And they also say there's less, I mean, as it is, there's supposed to be less, right, they're not supposed to give them anything to make them bigger faster. I've seen parts of it, I've never watched the thing all the way through. That's a fascinating thing, like chickens from the 50s were little tiny skinny things, but they've been bred so that they have like all breasts and very little anything else, so they're probably 3 times the size they were. It is. Yep. Yeah, and so that's the question, is that genetically modified or is that breeding? Technically breeding, but it's also genetically modification, right? Because you're getting the traits you want and getting rid of the ones you don't. So if you have it's a very slippery slope of what you consider a good idea. Yeah, they can't stand up. A lot of those chickens that are bred for their breast meat are unable to actually get around because they're so cowardly. Yeah. But it's because Americans eat a ridiculous amount of chicken, just a crazy amount of chicken compared to the rest of the world. Alright, where are they at? I'll finish this thought and then I'll make sure we have enough time for the quiz. Blah, 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 24 hours. Alright, so if you stop right then, this would be a meat stock. So you just boiled your protein to the point where it's a meat stock. So it's still a lot of water with a little bit of collagen in it. You then keep boiling. You boil it till it's 1/10 of its original volume. At that point, you can cool it off, and you've made something that looks delicious like this: a meat jelly, which is about 25% gelatin. So meat stock's like your, right, you go buy beef stock or chicken stock or whatever. That is, meat has been boiled for a while, 12 to 24 hours, until all the liquid tastes like chicken or all the liquid tastes like beef. And if you stop right then they can can it. If they keep going, then they'll make this, the meat jelly. So you can make a fish jelly, chicken jelly, beef jelly, turkey jelly, whatever you want. But you may have seen it, like if you've ever cooked, if you ever checked out your turkey, like after it's come to a cool, there's sometimes some jelly looking like stuff around the base of it. That is this. It's the collagen. It has all the water boiled off of it, and it's kind of cooled around the outside of the turkey. So that's turkey jelly. So, yes. Yes, yes, that is beef jelly. But once you microwave it, it goes back to, or you heat it up in any kind of way, it goes back to normal. Alright, I'll stop there so we have enough time for you guys to do the quiz. And then we'll spend Wednesday definitely talking about sauces, and we'll see where I get.